Finding the words to describe an experience so magical yet so fleeting that nothing else you've ever done compares to is difficult. There's no frame of reference, there's no comparison or simile that conveys how much it felt like everything changed in the blink of an eye and yet, just as quickly, went back to normal. I've always appreciated cosmic events and kept an eye to the sky. I took my film camera downtown for the 2017 eclipse, and while I wasn't in an area of totality, I was definitely left feeling impressed by our ability to witness such a scale of celestial movement and appreciated how something as seemingly concrete and simple as shadows, something we experience and take for granted every day of our lives, can be affected and altered by an event such as this. But I still hadn't experienced the real magic. We didn't book a hotel. We didn't even really plan out our trip until the night before. We knew traffic would be hell, but we're lucky enough that the Totality range would be within an hour or two's drive from us if we left early. We lucked out and found a small town just an hour north, Columbus, Indiana, with a school football field for eclipse viewing. Games and play space for the kiddo, plenty of open field to relax, bake in the sun, and see the magic. I over and yet underpacked. I knew I didn't want any chance of missing the magic, so I had multiple tertiary cameras and then my Fuji for run and gun shooting and my big Canon R5C for eclipse shooting. I'd already ordered a 20-stop ND filter and elected to go with my cheapo kit Tamron 70 to 300mm zoom lens for the telephoto shots. I don't have much telephoto or astrophotography gear, unfortunately. I think it's time to invest. Despite the overpacking, I forgot to grab a step-up ring for my ND filter to adapt it to the lens, but thankfully I could just rest the filter on the lens, being sure to turn the camera off and cap the lens between shots. Unfortunately, this lens is not great. The results weren't great. It looked tack sharp in my monitor, but didn't really come out that way. But that doesn't matter. None of it matters. The moment of totality, the moment everything went dark, it felt like nothing else mattered at all. It's possible I've never experienced such a moment of pure euphoria and presence in the moment as I felt when day became night, in the middle of the day. The moment the entire crowd gasped as it felt like the world was ending. A field full of people having their breath taken away simultaneously. Magic. Pure magic. Otherworldly, even. I can only imagine how our ancestors must have felt, witnessing celestial movement on an unimaginable scale. In a moment so fleeting, you wonder if it ever really happened at all. Being there, in that moment, with my family, a moment I never wanted to end. The gods blessed us with about 3 full minutes of totality. Those 3 minutes felt like an eternity, and yet also felt like a blink. It was over before I knew it, yet I would have given anything to linger there for just a little longer. I could only dream of living in that liminal state forever. It was clearly still daytime, but it was also night. Even now, it feels like my mind cannot process such a state for the world to exist in. We visited some other neat places around town, including a lovely park to continue our commune with nature and to get some father-son photography bonding action going on. Despite the fact that I was already exhausted, sore, and sunburnt, and we had the shadow of a possibly doubled or even tripled drive time home due to returning traffic from up north, I was still on cloud 9, still processing the experience, still replaying the moment of totality in my head. If you've only ever experienced an eclipse away from totality, at some point in your life, make an effort to travel to an area of totality for one of them. The difference is quite literally night and day between full totality and just being able to view part of it. I'm still in awe. Remember to be kind, rewind.